The reason you are hearing these words today is not a mistake. Trust the quiet pull that brought you to this moment, the persistent feeling that has been telling you to keep looking for answers. This message did not find its way to you by some random accident or error. Deep within yourself, you have been gazing out toward the horizon for days, weeks, or maybe even months, waiting for a sign, a confirmation, or something that could finally bring peace to the storm inside your heart. You have been carrying this heavy weight completely by yourself, keeping it hidden away from the world because you were terrified that other people simply would not understand. You chose to stay silent because you did not want to hear people tell you that you are just dreaming, that you are overthinking everything, or that you are desperately holding on to something that does not exist. Even so, that quiet voice inside your chest has spoken much louder than any piece of advice from the outside world. It has stayed right beside you when the sun comes up at dawn and when the night grows late and cold. It has remained close to you in every single quiet moment of your day. It whispered to you even when you actively tried not to listen. It kept calling out for your attention, even when you filled your schedule and tried your best to stay busy with other tasks and responsibilities. You did not make this feeling up. You did not create it out of nothing. It is a real, living force that is trying hard to rise up to the surface. Consider this possibility for a moment. What if this persistent feeling that refuses to leave you alone is not a burden at all, but a perfectly clear signal from your own soul, gently pointing you toward what is absolutely true? What if the reason this feeling refuses to fade away is because it does not come from empty longing or wishful thinking, but from a much deeper part of you that has always known the truth, a truth that your logical mind is only now beginning to understand? Today, a higher awareness wants to give you a gentle but completely honest confirmation of something you have felt for a very long time, but were always too afraid to fully accept. Out of a sense of fear, out of cautiousness, and because of old wounds from your past, you made the choice to silence your inner voice. You told yourself that what you were feeling was just too powerful, too sudden, and too intense to actually be real. Yet despite every single effort you made to push it down and bury it away, the truth kept returning to you. The universe knows that you truly need to hear this right now so you can confidently take your next step forward. What you are about to receive will help you understand exactly why your soul reacts so powerfully to this specific person. It will show you why this bond feels completely unlike anything else you have ever experienced. It will explain why this connection feels incredibly deep, even when there is a massive physical distance between you. It will help you see why the silence between the two of you does not feel like empty, dead space, but like a vast silence that is full of profound meaning. It will reveal why your intuition, that faithful inner guide that never truly misleads you, refuses to fade away, even when your rational mind tries its absolute best to convince you that you are wrong. There is a specific reason you cannot simply let this go. There is a reason your heart moves and reacts long before your logical thoughts can even form. Listen very carefully to what is being said. What follows will help you clearly see why this love that stirs your entire being so deeply holds a meaning that is far greater than you could ever imagine. This is not a random meeting, and it is not just a passing coincidence. What you are experiencing right now is true recognition at a soul level, a deep resonance that goes far beyond physical looks or mental connection. It directly touches the invisible threads of your destiny and your life path. It is the echo of something your soul remembers from long ago, something that your conscious mind has not yet found the right words to describe. You have tried to interrupt it, you have tried to distract yourself, and you have tried to firmly shut the door on it. You have tried to make logical sense of it and explain it away using everyday reason, but every single attempt you made only caused the feeling to grow stronger and more vibrant. This happens because what rises directly from your soul can never be truly silenced by your mind. Something, a powerful force that you cannot explain with human logic, keeps pulling you back to the exact same point. The deep, unshakable sense that this person did not enter your life by accident is at the very heart of this message. The universe wants you to know with absolute certainty that you are not losing your mind, you are not confused, and you are definitely not making things up in your head. What you feel comes from a very profound place, from those sacred spaces that the higher power uses to speak directly with you. When you finally stop listening only with your human ears and begin to listen with your soul, you quickly realize that it is not your personal desire inventing this connection. It is the core truth of who you are. Still, your mind keeps circling back to one major question. You keep wondering how you can tell the difference between real, spiritual love and simple human longing. You ask yourself if you are truly connected to this person on a higher level, or if you are just caught up in an unhealthy attachment or an emotional need. Your mind, which has been shaped by old pain and the constant fear of being hurt all over again, will always try to label your deep feelings as irrational, foolish, or dangerous. It is simply doing its absolute best to keep you safe from harm, the only way it knows how, which is through constant doubt, extreme caution, and fear of the unknown. But a true soul connection carries clear signs that cannot be faked or replicated, signs that do not come from a place of emptiness or lack, but from the purest and most abundant place within your being. The very first sign is a profound sense of peace and stillness. When you are truly linked to your soul's path through another person, you will experience an unusual, deep calm, even when that person is far away from you geographically. You do not feel a sense of abandonment when they are gone. You do not feel panic rising up in your chest. Instead, you feel a quiet knowing, a deep inner stillness that comes directly from spiritual recognition. The deepest part of your being knows that this energy is completely safe, and that what exists between the two of you cannot be touched or harmed by silence or physical distance. The connection itself is never in any real danger of dissolving. This deep peace is your intuition telling you that what is truly meant to be will always stay. Does this kind of connection happen with everyone you meet? No, it does not. You know very well from your own life experience that it does not. And that is exactly the reason why this specific bond feels so completely different from anything else. This peace is not coming from their recent actions or words, but from what your soul already knows to be true. The second sign is the sudden and powerful awakening of your true self. This particular person has brought alive something deep inside your spirit, parts of yourself that you did not even know existed, parts that were sleeping soundly and waiting for the exact right energy to come along and wake them up. This connection works exactly like a mirror, a spark, or a key. It continuously pushes you to grow. It forces you to recognize your own incredible depth, and it challenges you to face yourself in ways you never have before. You feel a strong, natural pull toward becoming a much better version of yourself, not just to please them, but because the connection itself lights up your true potential. This resonance touches something ancient within you, a quiet recognition that gently urges you to expand your horizons, to evolve as a being, and to open your heart completely. The intense power you feel is not some temporary romantic illusion. It is the permanent energetic mark of a shared purpose that binds the two of you together in this lifetime. The third sign is the completely unexplainable strength and endurance of the feeling. Its sheer intensity surprises you every single day. Its persistence completely baffles your logical mind. You have tried to explain it away, you have tried to shrink it down, you have tried to push it far away, and you have tried to bury it deep in the past. But no matter what actions you take, the feeling stays right there. It does not weaken with time. It does not dissolve under the weight of life. It does not fade away when you apply logic or try to find a distraction. Simple emotional dependency always loses its strength over time. The fear of being alone naturally fades away when new company arrives. But this specific feeling holds on tight, even when everything in the physical world around you seems to speak directly against it. That is your soul speaking to you, flatly refusing to close a circle that has not yet reached its natural end. What you are feeling is completely real. You did not imagine it, and you did not create it out of loneliness. This connection was fully allowed and orchestrated by a higher power. Nothing that comes directly from destiny enters your life just to tear you apart or destroy you. It comes into your life to change you from the inside out, and that beautiful change is only just beginning. If all of this is so certain and destined, then you might wonder why the universe has allowed this painful distance to happen. Why has a heavy silence moved into a space that once felt so vibrant, so alive, and so full of promise? Why has a painful separation appeared in a relationship that felt entirely destined, undeniable, and deeply aligned with your purpose? These heavy questions have sat like a weight in your heart for a long time, and yet the answers have always seemed to stay just out of your reach. But you must understand this fundamental truth. Destiny makes absolutely no errors. What has been deeply planted in your heart cannot be erased by anyone or anything. It cannot be erased by time, it cannot be erased by silence, it cannot be erased by fear, and it cannot be erased by distance. What is truly meant to unfold in your life will always find its way to happen, even when the path ahead looks completely blocked by obstacles. No matter how wide the gap between you seems to be, no matter how deep the quiet grows, or how much either of you tries to move forward with separate lives, there are certain connections that simply cannot be severed by human hands. There are connections where the human ego tries its hardest to force an ending, but the soul stands firm and says no. There are connections that must simply pause for a while, because both individual souls desperately need time to grow, time to heal, and time to become truly ready to hold the immense weight of the love that is meant for them. This person holds a highly meaningful place in your life story, and that is not just because of your own personal wishes or romantic feelings. It is because of a force that is much greater than both of you, a grand plan that is continuously unfolding beneath the surface of your daily life. A higher consciousness decided a long time ago that this specific connection serves a major purpose. It serves as an opening of true love, a necessary growth for your soul and theirs, and a deeper awakening that must happen at the exact right moment in time. Absolutely nothing about your initial meeting was accidental. Nothing about the intense feelings that rose up inside you happened by mere chance. Even if your logical mind tries to fool you right now, and even if it tries to persuade you that this whole thing was just an illusion, or a chapter that has simply closed forever, your soul knows the absolute truth. Deep inside your being, you already know that you cannot shut this book. The reason for this is incredibly simple. It is not over. It is not finished. It is not done. What you are going through right now is not a final ending but a paused cycle, a period of quiet preparation and a hidden shift in energy. The confusion you feel, the pain of missing them, and the gentle separation are not signs that everything is collapsing. They are clear signs that something truly beautiful is being built. Both of you had to mature. Both of you had to heal your own wounds. And both of you had to release old inner patterns that would have severely damaged the connection if it had continued without this necessary change. The universe does not bring two half-ready souls into a bond that is this powerful. It brings together complete intentions, and for intentions to become truly complete, separation is sometimes the exact tool that destiny must use to build inner strength, clarity, and perfect alignment. You have changed immensely during this time, and so has the other person. What seems like an impossible, unbridgeable gap to you right now is for a higher energy simply a necessary space for spiritual growth. A higher consciousness does not look at the present moment the way your human mind does. It already sees the entire path from beginning to end. It sees the ultimate destination and the final point of reunion, where both of you will stand fully awake, fully clear, and fully able to welcome each other without a single shred of fear, without any confusion, and without any hesitation. What you cannot yet see with your eyes, the universe has already witnessed. It speaks to you now to stop you from making the massive mistake of walking away from what is entirely real, from mixing up profound truth with temporary illusion, and from completely letting go of a connection your soul was carefully guided into for reasons far greater than simple romantic feelings. This connection is absolutely not a punishment meant to torture you. It is not an illusion designed to trick your mind. It is not here to break your spirit or destroy your happiness. It was intentionally created to stretch your capabilities, to teach you deep lessons, to purify your heart, and to change your entire outlook on life. Real love does not fade away into nothingness. True soul recognition does not just disappear into thin air. It continuously grows and deepens over time. The universe would never leave you in a state of ongoing confusion without a very specific, meaningful reason. This confusion you feel is not a sign that you are on the completely wrong life path. It is actually the very early stage of your spiritual waking up. It is the natural friction occurring between your logical mind and your deep intuition. It is the intense battle between what you fear will happen and what your spirit already knows to be true. To fully understand how destiny is currently preparing your eventual reunion, you must first understand the true purpose of this difficult phase. This time of deep quiet, this time of physical distance, and this time of pulling back from each other is necessary. This is not a sign of absolute absence. This is a process of deep alignment. This is the universe actively rearranging things behind the scenes, healing your oldest wounds, clearing away heavy karmic patterns, and getting both of you completely ready to hold the massive connection that destiny has woven between your souls. Picture two people who deeply belong together, meeting before they are actually ready for each other. Picture the absolute flood of raw emotion, intense energy, and overwhelming passion released before either person has learned to carry the weight of their own inner darkness and personal flaws. The meeting would be completely overwhelming, messy, and highly unstable. Instead of being a beautiful source of healing, the connection would quickly turn into a painful battleground between their unhealed wounds. A higher power does not let such a sacred bond destroy itself so easily. That is exactly why this temporary pause exists in your relationship. The pause is a protective force, a spiritual buffer, a total reset, and an act of profound love in advance. The universe stepped in not to end the connection forever, but to protect it completely until both of you could come back to it from a place of emotional growth, rather than from a place of mere survival, deep fear, or intense insecurity. This time that you see as being left behind, abandoned, or pushed away is in truth a conscious withdrawal, a kind of inner spiritual retreat, and a total clearing away of human illusions. It is a vital phase where both of you are on entirely separate journeys, not to forget about each other, but to refine yourselves on your own terms. It is an agreement made between your souls long before your human minds ever met in the physical world. Your souls agreed to part ways until you had both healed enough to carry the greatness of this connection without breaking down under its massive weight. This pause exists solely so that both of you can fully let go of old karmic ties, deep childhood wounds, unhealthy unconscious habits, and the protective walls of emotional isolation that would otherwise stop genuine love from flowing freely between you. For you specifically, this pause is not a punishment, but a total preparation. It is an open invitation to build a perfectly steady relationship with yourself. This is because, if you depended entirely on this person to feel whole and complete, the connection would eventually turn into dark fear, into frantic clinging, into heavy pressure, and into something that felt like a restrictive cage. Destiny does not want you to feel trapped. It wants you to be entirely free. It wants you to be incredibly strong. Physical distance is your ultimate training ground. It forces you to face your deepest fears, like the fear of being left behind, the fear of complete loneliness, and the fear of not being good enough. As long as these deep fears live inside your heart, you will keep drawing situations into your life that reflect your wounds, not your truth. This pause is here to finally end that toxic pattern for good. It is designed to bring your inner shadows out into the light, not to punish you for them, but to set you completely free from their control. It is the universe quietly telling you to fill your own cup first and to find your wholeness from within yourself. Only when you achieve that inner wholeness can this love come back to you in its highest and most beautiful form. The very moment you begin to move into that sense of wholeness, the energetic frequency between the two of you shifts dramatically. It strengthens, it becomes much clearer. It lines up perfectly because destiny does not ask you to just sit around and wait. It asks you to grow actively. You are not standing still in life. You are being meticulously prepared for what is coming. As this solid inner foundation begins to form within your heart, as your deepest wounds finally meet their own light, and as your personal strength expands into a clearer version of yourself, you must understand something incredibly important. This deep work you are doing does not happen only on your side of the connection. Even if you cannot see it with your eyes, even if you cannot feel it right now, and even if the absolute silence from the other side seems like total emptiness, the same universal energy that is shaping you is also shaping them. Their journey mirrors your own journey perfectly. Not in the exact daily details, but in total depth. It mirrors yours, not in perfect timing, but in ultimate purpose. It mirrors yours, not in outward behavior, but in profound inner change. This pulling back of awareness is never a one-sided event. The exact same universal force that is currently waking you up is also waking them up to reality. But their specific process of awakening may look very different from yours on the surface. While you are actively looking for clarity, they may be desperately fighting against it. While you lean into your intuition, they may be battling their own inner voice. While you are moving toward trust, they may be sinking deeper into fear. You are walking into your personal growth completely willingly. They, on the other hand, may be pulled into their growth entirely against their will. But the process is happening regardless of their resistance, because destiny does not wait for human permission to move forward. It moves both souls toward perfect alignment, even when one of them tries hard to hide away from the light. What you read as cold distance from them is not a state of peace on their end. It is a massive inner struggle. What you take as total indifference or forgetting is actually active avoidance. They have grown completely tired of pretending they are unaffected by this bond, and they are tired of telling themselves that what they felt was just short-lived or a random accident. Their human ego built massive stories to keep them feeling safe from vulnerability. They told themselves that it meant nothing, that they were perfectly fine without this connection, that it was just bad timing, and that they did not feel the same way anymore. But the universe never lets true soul connections be permanently buried under false human stories. Destiny removes every single exit strategy they try to use. It completely breaks up the distractions they hid behind for comfort. It dissolves the easy comfort they used to avoid facing the absolute truth of their feelings. It makes the silence between you sound much louder to them. It makes their memories of you incredibly sharper. It turns the very things that once soothed their anxiety into mirrors showing them exactly what they are running away from. This is why, even though they choose to stay completely quiet outwardly, their inner world is noisier than it has ever been. They are constantly faced with thoughts they cannot stop, deep feelings they cannot explain away, and a soul connection they simply cannot manage or control. The physical distance they created to feel safe has ironically become the very space where the truth echoes the loudest in their mind. Their human ego has always been their biggest and most trusted shield against the world. It is the exact part of them that fears giving in to love, fears being totally open, and fears the complete unknown. It is the part of them that has been deeply hurt in the past and flatly refuses to step into something it cannot predict or control. But true soul connections do not ask for predictions or safety guarantees. They ask for absolute honesty, and that level of honesty scares the ego to its core.